matter here to tie up EDG in that first place.
Yeah, big test here now for LNG. They've got themselves JDG today. They play FBX later on, and then RNG to round out their week. So their week 2 is a massive week for them. But, you know, coming into this, I think that for JDG, they are feeling pretty good. Like, JDG were our team of the week for week 1. They were pretty much beautifully set up across the board, and we can have a look now at the picks and bans. LNG on red and JDG on blue. I'm loving the Camille here for the side of Ale. Ale has been so prominent on this pick, and the fact that they're giving him something that has such presence into something like a Volibear onto Zoom gives me very high hopes that they'll be able to do something in this game.
Man, these picks are spicy. We got some wombo combos, we got some solo individual carries. I am so excited to see how this early game pans out, but especially how those objective team fights pan out. I mean, you don't have, you know, the Rel Diana combo. We got the Leona Diana combo, the true combo, if you will. And on the other side, I really think the Gragas, you know, coming in as the support there for LvMao, being able to maybe have some influence in that aspect is going to be interesting. I personally love the Jhin. I'm a big Jhin player. I know it's not the greatest, but I have a personal bias towards it. I want to see it pop off this time around here coming through.
Yeah, well, we actually saw JDG bring out the Jhin for Loken against top esports earlier on last week, so it's one of his most played. He's very much known for it, and I love the start that he goes for. He goes for the boots pots because he feels like he's just not going to be under that much threat and just needs to be able to kind of dodge out the Zenith blades a little bit. So like that little start for him. Curious to see now where Tarzan goes with this Diana. So we talked a little bit about the wombo combo, but the big thing is that like the Diana, when you looking at the early game, especially when you combo with either the Yasuo or with the Camille, you have so many ways of setting up your lane and setting yourself up to just kind of snowball that completely out of control. So not as quick of a clear as something like the Rumble, but will be able to make a lot more early plays.
I think that's the most important thing, right? And especially because, you know, you get Diana early on, she can completely control the pace of the game. But something that I was setting out for LNG when we were talking about this beforehand is like, you guys are good at the little fights. You're good at splitting team fights. You're good at skirmishing. You have to be careful, especially against JDG, at playing too slow, not being proactive. And I love to see that they found proactive picks. They've got Tarzan on this Diana that can be so influential in that early game.
Oh, we are back, thankfully.
We are.
Whatever the issue was, it was quick. They were waiting for us to finish the first series.
Yeah.
That's like, all right, they're in now. Let's go. But yeah, and it's a little bit of I suppose a LPL specialty. The Gragas, support still very much seen, kind of like throughout the LPL as a support pick. Can be flexed towards mid, even jungle if you're really feeling frisky. But I do like this coming out from LvMao. Gives him a lot of bit of engage, kind of helps set up for the Kanavi Zoom kind of backline damage dealers, as Tarzan is going to be following the mirror of the Rumble. But curious to see now what they want to go for it. And for the Jhin this time around, Jhin into the Varus, this feels like it's a counter that JDG are very happy going into, because they picked this one up against top esports as well. And I can see why. It's very safe. It's got a lot of different ways of wave clearing and slowing down someone trying to jump into you. And with the boot start, you can be very slippery and dodge out those early piercing arrows.
Yeah, and trying to get the advantage down there, potentially being able to buy some time, get some of that trading down, and find the advantages in that way is going to be key to honestly both these sides. But something else I want to dive into as we're getting same jungle pathings coming through is the jungle matchup, Kanavi versus Tarzan. Being able to get those aggressive junglers under wraps is going to be one of the keys, at least, to winning this series for either side, and especially where they find that influence. We already talked about Tarzan on the Diana getting that influence early, but Kanavi is so good at sniffing out the pathing, knowing where Tarzan wants to be, and just goes for the blue buff. Isn't going to get it. Tarzan does, and able to get out. So Kanavi's early tries, he knows where he's at. He's found the pacing, he's found the timing, but he can't get the blue buff away.
There's actually a lot of time wasted here for Kanavi, actually. He spent a lot of time going for this camp and only gets the one. Doesn't get the wolves, doesn't get the blue, ends up actually only gaining one camp. So he's a little bit of a camp behind. And will have his top side of his camps to be able to go for. But you can see on the mini-map there, Zoom moving up towards that lane, or towards that Scuttle Crab, dropping down a ward. Actually, I think he ended up taking the Scuttle in general.
I think he got it. So they got the double Scuttle.
So just able to get the double Scuttle. Doesn't mean as much as such because you're not, you know, you're not dealing with the jungle having double Scuttle. But Zoom in a little bit of trouble.
He stepped up just a little too far. Sky Splitter's gonna buy some time though, and Zoom gets out. You know, honestly, that was all planned.
Yeah, just got a little bit aggressive. Not a huge amount of damage onto Tarzan's Diana this early on, so actually, it was actually just the Scuttle taken there, so it was actually just a ward down. So it is actually double Scuttle. It is double Scuttle for Kanavi, but yeah, like honestly, this is kind of what I wanted to see with the Diana. Like, you know, you go in with the Camille, you get the stun down, you're able to create that pressure. TP was used by Zoom now to get back into the lane as he got himself to double cloth armor, and this should be a pretty easy way for, you know, Ale to kind of, you know, just push this one up. Has enough mana to be able to hook shot out should he need it, but needs to be careful as well. I think actually Diana might need to come back up here because otherwise the wave will just kind of freeze in a very unfavorable position.
Every time I hear his name and say his name, all I can do is think of the French word. It just means go. So you can go allez, allez. And then you can just say go allez. It's fine.
It's a football. It's a football chant.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe we'll give him some luck in this game in the matchup against Zoom. We'll check in on that later. But something else that I want to check in on, right, is this mid lane. Yagao versus Icon. We have a Yasuo in the game that we really haven't highlighted too much yet. And I know Yasuo has become kind of staple in League of Legends, whatever, but every time I see him, I still think of the high highs that a Yasuo can have once you start getting gold. And even if you don't start getting gold, you just get further into the game.
Yeah, Yasuo can be that just big snowballing factor that you're able to kind of have for yourself as Lwandy now puts himself into mid lane. Kanavi and LvMao are here as well. They're trying to basically LNG are trying to stop the freeze right now, whereas JDG are trying to basically catch them out for overextending. Yeah. So that's kind of the toing and froing right now, as you can see both jungles and supports very much hanging around each other. Good ward there from Lwandy. Sniffs out that something was a little untoward as Tarzan might be in a little bit of trouble. Forced to flash. LvMao's threat of his flash body slam was enough.
And honestly, that's huge to take away the flash right now for Tarzan, just that escapability tool and even that go forward tool. Even though you do have a lot of mobility as the Diana, you're always going to want to have that flash just in handy and in case. But it's still Kanavi, JDG putting the pressure into the bot side of the map, always invading, always being present in the enemy jungle and making sure that the bot lane is carefree.
Yeah, really just good work here from the side of JDG. They're making sure that they're putting pressure onto this Diana, which they know is weaker than the Rumble, and as you can see by the clear speed, very much slower on the clear speed as well, making sure that the Varus and Leona lane does not get the kind of pressure that it should have. And for Icon, you know, he's not really able to do anything. He's just constantly being pushed up. He's doing very well at just kind of keeping himself relative in terms of the farm, but without a TP, he's not very useful to pretty much anybody right now, and it's going to be a little bit of a while before he becomes that big kind of threat. But with Ale roaming down, just remember that hook shot does count as a knock-up, so if they do get a little bit of a bounce up, they can go for something. And speaking of going for something,
LNG did go for the engage there, have to back away as there's the equalizer and the curtain call comes out. Lwandy needs to get behind Light, but Light doesn't want to take the shot. There's the fourth one. It's going to be the kill going over to Loken, and the second one goes to Kanavi. They get the trade back, but the kill goes under Lwandy's name, and it's definitely not who you want to have the gold.
Yeah, caught between a rock and a rumble there. Really not really any places to go. LvMao does end up falling, so the delay was long enough to get themselves a kill back. So, but while that happens, you're losing a lot of farm, you're losing all the XP, you're also losing the dragon, and there's nothing really that Tarzan can do in response. You know, we talk about League of Legends as a game where it's all about reactions and getting yourself into positions to be able to reactively make a play on the other side of the map. But Kanavi is just, he's just on the rumble. He's too quick. He's got too much going for him. But as I say that, they might look for something in mid lane.
Are looking. They don't find it necessarily, but LvMao gets caught out here, but a lot of damage traded back, And they have Kanavi here as well. That's going to be the kill going on to Lwandy again. Luckily, they're able to get another one onto Tarzan. So they get the kill onto finally somebody that needs that goal. But Tarzan's in some serious trouble here against Yagao. Might be able to get out of here, but Loken's here as well. Couple pop shots, one more shot from Yagao. Can he do it? The dash forward? No! There's the deadly flourish, and Yagao gets the kill. Tarzan, unfortunately, sniffed out in the enemy jungle.
Yeah, they just go a little bit too far underneath the turret in mid lane. That means they're just tanking that one up for ages, and they can't under an unfortunate situation. Lwandy is the one that picks up the kill,
yeah.
so you're going to have a very tanky support in these later game team fights, but you really would love this goal to be going onto your carries. And you can see they fully commit to this, thinking they'd be able to get the flash. They do get the flash from Yagao, but they didn't actually commit the Steel Tempest ultimate there from Icon. A little bit of a misstep, if you ask me, because it just delays them underneath the tower that little bit longer, and they don't end up trading favorably 3-for-1 in overall in favor of JDG.
That was huge. And honestly, it might not mean the most in the grand scheme of things, but I feel like if Tarzan gets that first kill into Zoom early on that we saw him try to gank, the Diana feels a lot different in this situation right now. And I feel like Diana's starting to get a little bit caught up, at least in the farm department, and you're still seeing that consistency there. But Kanavi has been non-stop putting pressure onto Tarzan, onto Tarzan's pathing, onto Tarzan's thinking, and we have a lull, and as I speak about it, maybe caster cursing a little bit, but it has been all about Kanavi's movement around the map that has been so impressive to me.
Yeah, Kanavi has been able to just be everywhere, and this is the power you get when you get something like a Rumble. The reason why he's so powerful and so highly prioritized is that he does get the early clears. He's able to make ganks happen as well as just farm up very, very efficiently. So for Kanavi, this is just another day at the office, just able to roam around, keep himself ahead, but needs to be a little bit careful though, because later on this game, when the Yasuo and the Diana become online, it's going to become very difficult for the side of JDG to really mitigate that damage without the uses of Zhonya's or stopwatches.
And that's where I think the Lucian comes into such big play here for JDG, where you have the long range, you have the follow up with the Jhin, but you also have that mid game power spike. You have that consistent sustained damage from the Lucian, just complements each other so well. There's a couple carry squishy members here though, and you've got a lot of go buttons on the side of LNG and a lot of kill squishiness, at least on LNG as well, with the best wording I could have ever picked for that.
Yeah, and I think the big thing for the side of JDG is that they need to make sure that Ale does not get on top of Yagao or on top of Loken. If those two carries are caught out by the hookshot, and then on top of that you put in the Hextech ultimatum, there's nowhere for them to go. Icon and Tarzan will be able to join in, no problem whatsoever, and that's where you're in a really, really tight pickle there if you're the side of JDG. But if you are able to avoid that full all-in engage, then you have so much to work with. You have so much kiting, you have so much ways of just keeping the side of LNG at arm's length, and there's not really a lot that LNG can do about it.
And I'm really interested to see how this we've seen Zoom getting the better end of the trading, at least against Ale up here, but the Volibear itself is very interesting to me as a team fight potential, as well as just the split lane here, and being able to keep that presence up in the top lane. I feel like he's been doing pretty good at punishing Ale, and really, as soon as you can start making the decisions, right, you're using the Stormbringer to get under, I was going to say under the towers. Light's getting taken down under the towers, not going to go down just yet. Oh, Loken goes forward with the Gale Force, gets the kill, as the unfortunate circumstances keep happening. Penguin, Lwandy's 3-2. He's got 3 kills now.
Look at me. I'm the carry now. Lwandy coming in here. He is the one who's getting all these kills, getting a lot of this gold. Again, probably the best situation they could have really hoped for there. They go in, they get the kill, return, as Yagao now chasing down Icon, just to make sure that there's no crazy shenanigans happening around this dragon in 30 seconds. But again, this is just easy pickings here for the side of JDG. You've got so many ways of setting this up, and what's Light supposed to do on this Varus? He's just stuck underneath this turret, getting pot shots thrown at him there from the curtain call, and the equalizer comes down, and he's almost dead.
Yep, find ways at least to not lose your health bars. I feel like the key right now. The other thing for me is, as well, is you have about a 2.5k lead for JDG, and that's just off the back of across the map. having those gold leads, right? You have mid lane up about 1,000 gold. You got Loken in the bot lane up about 1,000 gold. And it's feeling really good from JDG's standpoint, at least at this 13-minute, the cresting of the 13-minute mark. What's not going to feel good, well, at least what wasn't going to feel good is Yagao going down. They could turn this as they pop the equalizer. Yagao's not very healthy here, so Kanavi needs to be careful. But that was almost a really bad situation for JDG. They're going to turn it around here with the Rift Herald in the mid lane, though.
Yeah, you've got enough sustain. You got the wave clear. You can just push this in, get these plates, get yourself a nice little bit of gold. You got LvMao covering as well, so they know they're not going to be caught out with anything just yet. And with the Dragon live, it could be a little bit of a play here for JDG. They have a teleport advantage in top as well.
Definitely do, and that's something we've seen a little bit of today, but not necessarily the biggest play. A lot of people not taking those TPs, right? We will see though that double TP possibility for JDG, using that to its fruition. And second dragon going over already. The dragon timers are really ticking here for JDG, and they can keep that objective control up. It's going to be even nicer in the later game when you have all that control, when you have the Ocean's Soul if you're going for it, as the Solar Flare was actually used on Kanavi right there.
Yeah, Solar Flare just to try and stop anyone from going too aggressive. They know the flash is probably available for Kanavi, so he can jump over with the help of LvMao and make that one work. I think if Lwandy needs to leave, he needs to leave now. He's going to get himself caught up. There is the curtain call coming down.
Oh my god, the combo, like you didn't think you're like, okay, he's gonna die. Okay, no, he's not gonna die. Okay, he's gonna die. Okay, he's not gonna die. Okay, the cast comes in and you're dead. As he gets pushed back into the rest of the fight, and now JDG just roaming as the death squad right now towards the bot side of the map.
There's just nothing they can do for LNG. There's literally no response to it. They can't dive this Volibear. He's just too damn tanky with flash and ult available. And Icon's just not there yet. Icon doesn't really have any items to kind of make anything happen, and just trying his very best to see if he can push in this this Yagao. But I don't know, this composition doesn't seem to be doing a lot, and I feel like this Varus pick is very much found out here by the side of JDG. They seem to be totally fine leaving that one open and getting themselves that counter pick in the Jhin.
Yeah, and with all that proactivity we highlighted, where you have all the early game potentials there, you've got Tarzan on the Diana, you've got Camille that can do well, you still got the scaling factors here with the Yasuo and everything. That proactivity hasn't really led to much, right? You've gotten 3 kills on Lwandy on the Leona, but it hasn't been those dictated fights by the comp of LNG, right? It's been a lot of them fighting the fights that JDG wants to fight.
Well, we'll see if the LNG can force something out in the next little while as they look to. And I'm looking towards, you know, the combination with the Diana, Yasuo. I'm looking towards that Camille. It's still very much a game they can win, but 5,000 gold out of nowhere is the deficit, and this is just how JDG feel like they're coming into 2021 summer. This is how they look like they're going to be able to continue on this split, and really coming into the start of the split as a very hot contender for, you know, the top echelons of the LPL.
I do believe I'm having some issues, Mr. Penguin. I'm sorry, you might have to do a little solo cast to get this all figured through. But I do not. No problem.
You do not have feed. All right, I'm going to have to take over here as the play-by-plays. We can see Ale getting burned, baby, burn. Disco Inferno. He will end up being traded back. Tarzan gets himself the kill. LvMao is there to try and maybe turn this one onto Lwandy, and he keeps going down on top of this. We're going to have the Solar Flare on top of that one there. There's the Stormbringers. They're trying to turn this one around. This is actually all Icon, and it's actually LNG finally finding the fight that they wanted. They get themselves 1. They get themselves 2. They maybe get themselves 3. Yes, they will. They will trade it back, though, for Lwandy, the carry that we did not want, but the one we deserved. As LNG get themselves back into this game, they are going to be able to turn that into a Rift Herald and potentially into some more farm on the top side. Nicely done here by LNG, and we're going to see now exactly what they're able to do with this advantage. I'm going to take a quick breath and come back into it, but great moves here, and it all starts off with basically Kanavi starting the fight, looking to try and catch out someone. He actually catches out Ale completely, drops down the equalizer, and just knows that he's able to take this fight because he's just, what else is going to happen? Great Zhonya's as well to stop the piercing arrow from taking away the fight, and that just extends it. But JDG, they feel like they can get this one, but love a look at Icon. Icon's just kind of off to the side, no one really dealing with him right now, and now he's able to build up stacks. He's now able to build up those kind of like little movements, as we can see the chains of corruption coming out, able to lock down the Lucian and just making it so difficult for anyone to move up that ramp on the side of JDG to help out the Volibear. So nicely done there by LNG. They get themselves back into this game, and it's going to be a little bit more of a fight happening in this top side. But Mazel, I believe you're back with me.
Hey, perfect timing to watch Zoom going to Ale, but not going to go all the way in. Sorry to leave you hanging there. Gotta love internet here in LA especially, but Penguin, you're hard smurfing, so it's okay.
It's all good. We've got to make it work. But yeah, LNG now back into this as Dragon spawning in 20 seconds. This could be a big fight. You have the Immortal Shield Bow. You also have the Prowler's Claw for the Varus. So everyone pretty much on big item points, and a lot of summoners were burnt on the side of JDG in that last fight, so they don't have a lot of flashes.
You've got to look for Tarzan's Moonfall combo going in. That's going to be a big damage source to start off fights or to follow up fights, and especially around those close quarters and those objectives in the Dragon Pit is going to be huge. That's the one thing I think LNG really have going for them, is those tight-knit fights are going to be so nice for their combos and the things they have to worry about. But that is sole point for JDG, and they're already taking the Dragon down. Dragon's gone. They're trying to find a fight on the other side. Zoom is not going to be the one that gets caught. They have the combo there. Equalizer comes down, but they're stuck in the back of the pit. Tarzan goes for the move ball, but can't get it. But look at the pit. The craziness is going to keep on turning. Icon is trying his darndest as this Yasuo to make it happen, to force it happen, and he will get the kill. That's 3 down for each side.
3 down for each side. It is Icon and Tarzan who are able to make that one work. They find themselves the kills, and they're able to kind of keep this one at an equal footing. It is still sole point, though, for JDG, so they are the one with the advantage. And for Icon, he's now 4-1-5. This Yasuo is online. This Yasuo is the thing that is going to be carrying the side of LNG. And for JDG, they need to be so careful. They can't get caught out like that again.
They absolutely cannot, and especially in the way that it happened, right? And you talk about the 1-10 power spike. What about the 10-0 or 10-1 power spike there for the Yasuo? But this initial fight kickoff is what is crazy to me, and the fact that we have such a split fight going on.
Yeah, and honestly, you can see just how split it is. Ale was just dealing with Zoom on the backside of this. Yagao and Icon were basically just down at the big damage. One nice prediction there with the Steel Tempest, able to pick up that kill. That keeps it basically even for the side of LNG. But again, like I said, 3.5 minutes, you will have an Ocean Soul point for the side of JDG. And giving an Ocean Soul to a double AD carry comp is just bad news bears overall for everyone. So you can't let that one go. But you now have 2.5 items onto your Yasuo. He's full crit. He's going to be able to kind of get his, well, including the 50% passive, he's going to be able to melt through these health bars should he be able to do it. But culling on top of the curtain call, Lwandy has to get the flat or the heal from Light, and that's a summoner down. I don't think they can defend this mid lane anymore.
Yeah, I don't think the oppression is gonna stop here against LNG. JDG have just been able to put it on. Yeah, Ale's right behind. It's a little worrisome here. They actually want to go for it. They're going full in the last breath as well. But Icon is pushed under tower. They're still going for the fight. They don't care that your tower is there.
Oh my
Icon is a literal god right now. And on the other side of the fight, Lwandy gets out, and Zoom is the one that dies.
They didn't tick their boxes. They didn't check their T's and their I's. They didn't know where Ale was. And you can see the length that you can get with that last breath on top of Ale using the hook shot. And this game has just been flipped on its head. It's a gold lead. It's a kill lead. It's going to be the Baron as well. LNG are not out of it just yet.
They are not. They will not go quietly into the night. You may have 3 dragons, but we got the big purple worm, as LNG will be able to get that back reset and get back onto the map. But here's that flame.
Yeah, and there's just nothing you can do there if you're Loken. You've no cleanse, you've no flash available to you. Yagao gets jumped on, and there's the power of that exhaust summoner as well. Yes, you don't have the TP there for Icon, but you have used the exhaust to just completely mitigate any damage in any of that turret. And then everyone's just isolated. It was just straight up a spring trap that just catches them all. Well, peekaboo, it's us and LNG now back into this game. They've got themselves a 2,000 gold lead. They have Baron up for the next 2.5 minutes, and the Dragon is spawning in a minute and a half. So they should be able to stop the count, at least for now.
And I love it because it's the split fights that we're seeing and the good target calling from LNG. Something that we talked a little bit about when we were coming into this game, but they are good at skirmishing. They are good at splitting those team fights into pieces and picking those pieces apart. They have to be a very strong team in that aspect to really take it to JDG. And just like, as you said earlier, it's all flipped on its head now. You've got map control potentially for LNG if they want to keep it forward, but JDG know that it's on the tipping point. They need to keep up the pressure that they have.
Well, JDG definitely not the person to kind of live that one up, but where we're going to be seeing the next fight, I don't imagine it will be at this Dragon. I don't think that JDG will be feeling confident enough to kind of go for that one, but they're going to get 2 towers, and this is kind of opening up the map, and this is where the map gets very dark and very scary, and for LNG, this is exactly what you want. These little small moments, which I was just about to say, when you create the darkness, it lets them open up the map and create those pick opportunities, and with the Diana, the Camille, and of course with the Yasuo, that's what you're looking for. You're not looking for your standard front-to-back team fight. You're looking to try and find out an AD carry or a jungler on their own and kill them instantly.
Yeah, I'm trying to do so right there as well, but we do have a big fight coming up. This is soul for JDG if they can take it. LNG know that. They've already set up. They got wards down. They got vision control. They're starting up the Dragon right now to force JDG's hands if they want to go for it. But really, JDG just have all the tools they want to go for. Look at the curtain call coming across. They could go for the re-engage here, though. Can they get the damage down? The cask is not there. We will find the re-engage, so Yagao just deletes Lwandy.
Yeah, Lwandy gives his life in the service of LNG, make sure that everyone else gets out alive, and his Baron power play not amounting to much. They will actually lose this tier 1 in mid lane. Won't lose anything else off of it, but again, they got the Dragon. That's important for the side of LNG. They stopped themselves losing that Ocean Soul, and they're not out of the woods. Yes, fantastic little bits of play coming out for them. They really were able to kind of, drag themselves back from the brink of defeat now to look to like to have a bit of a chance, but it's not over yet. They still have a hell of a lot of work to do.
They definitely do, especially against a team as solid as JDG, as strong as JDG, and especially these individual members showing up, right? And especially the movement around the map for JDG has been so clean with Kanavi getting those invades, getting that early advantage, early pressure on Tarzan where he isn't able to get the snowball that Diana is typically looking for. And we do have a little bit of time here for another objective on the map, so it's going to be just a lot of clearing, a lot of that kind of vision game coming through for both these sides. But with, Baron up in 230, you've got Dragon up in 345, another, must fight for LNG because you cannot give that Ocean Soul over to JDG with what they have as a composition. It's getting a little bit crazy when we're thinking about the lead up to those fights and what we've seen in the lead ups to those fights.
And I just see a Spirit Visage there finished up for Zoom. I'm not the biggest fan of this. You're against a Camille, a Yasuo, and a Varus, and also an auto-attacking Diana. So I actually would have preferred to see Thornmail or Randuin's maybe just, some more armor to or even hell a Bramble Vest just even then, like just small little things like that to try and mitigate the damage that are coming down. Not a super big fan of this particular pickup from him. And also considering there is healing cut on the side of Icon that's been there for quite a while, so we'll see if it ends up kind of biting them a little bit as it gives them a little bit of extra HP. But right now, if you're JDG, you have the pressure when it comes to the 5v5 team fight. You know that you are stronger in a straight 5v5 because you have the front line with the Gragas and the Volibear with the backline access that you are able to kind of give up with the Lucian and the Jhin. So for LNG, it's about them finding creative ways to get around JDG grouping up as 5 and catching out Loken or Yagao. And on the other side for JDG, they just need to try and make sure they cover their flanks, dot their I's, cross their T's, make sure they know where Ali is at all times so they're not getting caught out again.
Yeah, definitely keeping an eye on the TPs and the flanks coming in from Ale, because as we saw last time around, just that initial setup, as long as you can get one singular knock-up or any kind of thing like that onto one of these carries, it does not matter. The go buttons are pressed, the red big giant button is smashed into pieces, and LNG are going forward. So it's going to be really intricate to see how this fight's kind of lay out, because I do think JDG have the stock standard, very strong composition when you're fighting that front to back, and you have the kind of the different range options you do have, where on the other side you have to commit to those all-ins. You have to, if you're going to go in, you better make sure you get every single one of them.
Yeah, for LNG, you go hard, you go home. That's just kind of how this one goes, really. And for JDG, they can play the kite game. They can play with, hypothetically, Kanavi gets caught out. They can still play with Yagao and Loken kiting out with Zoom and LvMao. So there's a lot of options here for the side of JDG. I would say, in terms of executing the composition, I would argue JDG's is easier to execute, but if LNG can find that fight, if they can find that Crescent Moonfall on top of multiple carries that sets up the last breath, then they find themselves in a very big advantageous lead. And 3 items on Yasuo, 3 items on Camille, 3 items onto the Varus. Hell, you've almost got Azanya's now finished up for Lwandy because he's got so many damn kills. It's actually working out fine for them in that regard. So very curious to see now how the next team fight goes. And again, it's probably going to be in 50 seconds at that Dragon Soul.
You gotta expect it, unless JDG just wanted to give it up for some reason. But that's what I love about these compositions, is like JDG tried and true. They can take whatever's thrown at them, whereas LNG are like, we get that one moment, it completely throws everything out the window. We can just turn the fight, we can turn the pace of the game, especially because they still are, circling that lead. It's back and forth. It's a very even game in that aspect of it, and that means these fights get even more chaotic, even more hectic when everything is on the line.
Yeah, important to note here as well, Loken just finished off his rapid-fire cannon, so he's going to have that little bit of extra range coming into this fight now in 4 seconds. Actually, I don't even think that JDG want to fight it. They're looking to try and just trade around the map to maybe just say, look, it's a second Drake. We don't care. We know that we're not stronger than you right now, so they're just waiting for their AD carries to hit those critical mass item breakpoints.
And that's exactly what I was saying. Like, you can take what you've been given on the map, right? You've been up to that soul point here for a while. You can pick and choose where you want to take those fights, where you feel confident taking those fights, because you have to feel confident against this team composition, especially when you're rocking the double ADC comp into this kind of very scary composition for some squishy ADCs. And you're seeing the very heavy priority in mid lane, just making sure that both teams are always showing presence here and knowing where the enemy team is looking to make plays.
Yeah, TP was there used by Yagao into mid lane, so they are down a TP, so if Ale is able to get himself off into a side lane, they should be able to go for something there. But JDG just using this, the fact that, if everyone on the side of LNG is separated, they know they can move forward. They know they can be aggressive because they have got those extra bits of damage. They've got those extra bits of setup and catch potential that the side of LNG just can't deal with alone. So see what they want to go for. They are not going to go for the Baron just yet. That little pink ward in the back of the pit was just giving them a little bit of knowledge and power to be able to know that the Baron was not being started. And resets are coming in. We actually have the fully finished Zhonya's now for Lwandy. You have a stopwatch in the back pocket for both Camille and the Yasuo on the side of LNG, whereas only the stopwatch for the Jhin here on the side of JDG. So there is a lot of, stall potential here from both sides. And it's getting close. This is going to be... We're probably not going to see another fight until 3 minutes 30 when we get up to that 3rd Drake for LNG or the 4th for JDG.
Yeah, I have some good news for you, Penguin. Got some good news. Got some good news coming down the line. Zoom has purchased the Thornman. So we have that.
Thank God.
The boxes checked. And we have that one in the game. No, it's just a little bit of a joke.
It's a pity that most of the other team are building armor pen. Anyway,
I know. It's just so sad. But JDG, take the lull in action to just start the Baron. It's already at 9,000 health. You've got LNG making a mad dash to get here. 5,000 health. They're going to pull off of it. They're just seeing if they can pull LNG to this side of the map, to their style of play and how they want to approach this fight.
Yeah, well, LA TP'd. They got what they wanted. They got the global out of the top laner of LNG, but now they're backing away. I don't know if you want to go for this if you're LNG. There's a lot of AoE here that can be thrown out on top of you if you try to start this Baron. You can see right now they're just trying to get rid of all of this vision with that pink ward in the back of the pit as well, actually just behind the wall of it. They could get zoom into this as well. So LNG, they know that they need to be very, very careful around this objective, and they know they can't be the ones to try and just get caught out, because if they do, the game's over.
Yeah, it's such a knife's edge, and that's what I absolutely love here. You had crazy tension-filled games in the first series, and already this first game of the second series tonight is delivering. LNG start up
Oh
the
my
Baron.
God.
This is on the back of a lot of damage here as well.
It's gone, it's dead.
Just can't even get there. There's the TP in the back. The Baron's already gone. Look at that equalizer, though. It's huge damage, but look at the re-engage. Curtain Call's coming out. Curtain Call's doing a good amount of damage. There's the flank by Zoom as well. They are tearing apart the team right now, but look at Icon on this Yasuo. Can Kanavi change it? Look at Loken getting golden off the side of the fight. They're getting taken out. LNG! Turn it and ace JDG!
That was just such a quick Baron. JDG were not prepared for how quick you can take it with the Varus, the Yasuo, and of course the Camille. You just melt through that health bar, and they get aced as well. Fantastic team fight at the end. And then, speaking of the end, I think LNG have done it.
They might be able to just take this. The death timers are just too heavy. You've got LvMao coming up, but they've got 4 members right here and their ADC. Icon and the rest of the squad coming up clutch. We said at a moment's notice, LNG could take it to JDG, take the fight, use their insane combination of champions, their all-in buttons to take the game, and they do just that off the back of a beautiful fight around Baron.
Oh, I believe I've lost Mazel after the Vuv call completely. But yeah, honestly, fantastic play there from LNG. Really making this Diana Yasuo composition. I'm looking at Mazel as if he died or something now. It's just like he's gone forever. But yeah, like really, really big moments there. And Mazel, are you back with me, my brother?
I believe I am. Still don't have feet. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we're back, baby. But I just think LNG coming out to be able to take a game like that. Look at that gold grab, Penguin. Just look at it. Look at it and revel.
This was it was just JDG's game to lose, really. They had the early stages, like we said, it was 5,000 gold, and then there was the catch in mid lane, and then there was the fight at Dragon, and then there was the Baron, and the game was over. So very, very key pivotal moments there for the side of LNG, and just honestly really good recognizing of their win conditions. They recognized that they couldn't take a full 5v5. They could not take it unless they got a pick off the start of it, and that's exactly what they did around that Baron. They just went to go for the pick. They separated the team out, so it wasn't just all one damage onto one person. It was damage, you know, kind of spread across the team. And then the assassins can do their job. Diana kills off Yagao, Yasuo kills off Loken. It's as easy as that.
The ultimate enemy of ADCs, and especially a double ADC composition, is going to be those assassins. It's going to be that Yasuo, and we got to see it come to fruition, especially. And I really love to see the way that LNG took it. Right, it wasn't just like there were some very questionable parts, right? JDG did look like the typical JDG, where they had a lot of strength, they had a lot of control around the map, but LNG knew how to take the fights. They knew how to split the fights. And again, I'm gonna re-harp on that over and over again of how good they are when they do get into those compromising positions. They're able to split the fights apart in the way they want to, as we see man on the Rift himself, Tarzan on the Diana, coming in clutch with the moonfalls.
Yeah, really just set up his team for success, and a bit of a rough early game for the side of LNG, but they were able to find out the picks. They were able to stop that Dragon Soul from going over, and again, that was just pivotal for their team to be able to get themselves into a position to be able to burn down that dragon, like, or the Baron, excuse me, like absolutely crazy. And then JDG kind of went into panic mode. They felt like they had to take the fight then because the Baron was already gone.
Yeah, and what I love also about Tarzan coming in clutch right there with the Diana is like, he didn't necessarily get the early game advantage that we wanted, right? Like, he didn't get the things that we were looking for early on, but it didn't matter because it was when the team fights came along that he came in clutch. And that was a heck of a game. Game number 1 from LNG. We'll see what JDG can respond with here in this best of 3, as we will be